Let's look at our check your understanding. This says choose a probability value to complete the middle column of the table. Then give an example and event that may have this probability. So these are the probabilities they let us choose from. We're clearly not going to pick all of them. So the first one said this outcome is impossible, it can never occur. So that's going to always be a probability of 0. So an impossible event would be like rolling a 7 on a fair die. And I should say a 6-sided die, because there are dice that have more than 6 sides. So rolling a 7 on a fair die would never ever happen, because there's only 1 through 6. 7's not a possibility. An outcome is certain. It will happen every time. That would be a probability of 1. So this would be like rolling a 1 through a 6 on a fair die. Like you're going to roll a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, that's going to happen every time, because those are all of your options. An outcome that is very unlikely. Okay, so this is very unlikely, but it will occur once in a while in a long sequence of trials. So that's this probability right here. 0.001 is very unlikely. 0.3, 30% of the time, that's not unlikely. A lot of people want to pick that because they're like, well, it's less than half the time, so it's unlikely. 30% is still pretty likely. So we got to be like lower than 5% on this. So 0.001. So I said the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl this year. So whether you love them or hate them, it's probably not going to happen. They're not having a great season. So this, it's probably closer to 0, but this is pretty close to 0. All right. This outcome will occur more often than not. So it's got to be more than 50%, but it doesn't occur almost every time. So 0.99 would be almost every time. So this is 0.6, and Miss Eccles is in a good mood. I would say I'm in a good mood more than 60% of the time, but I'm definitely in a good mood more often than I'm not. All right, number 2, in the Wheel of Fortune, there is an 11.1% probability of spinning bankrupt on any given spin. And this asks us to interpret the probability. So this is a sentence frame, and we did it on the previous page. If you have to interpret the probability, you're going to start off with after many, whatever it is you're doing, right? So in this case, after many spins on the Wheel of Fortune, and then it's the percent of time spinning bankrupt approaches that probability, and then we're going to reiterate in the long run. Okay? You do it a lot of times, then the percent of times that you actually get that will approach that true probability in the long run. Number 9, in 9 consecutive spins of the Wheel of Fortune, none of the spins land on bankrupt. The next contestant worries that he is more likely to land on bankrupt now because bankrupt is due. That's not a thing. Okay, we'll talk about that. Explain why this thinking is wrong. Mostly because probability is unpredictable in the short run, and streaks are common, 100%. Probability is unpredictable in the short run, and streaks are common, and there's no such thing as bankrupt is due. The probability of getting it is the same every time, no matter what. All right, hope that you understood this lesson and that you're feeling good about it. We will see you in class on Wednesday, ready to go.